Flip, 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 Flip Weekly.
Hello and welcome to the Flip Weekly podcast. This is a podcast all about reselling. We go to thrift stores, garage sales, Facebook Marketplace. We find things to resell. Now, I've got a big episode of Flip Weekly for you. This week, we have a lot of thrift store pickups. We have a competition. That's right, a contest, more like a giveaway, actually. I'm giving away a copy of a 76, 67, it's a 1976 hardcover copy of a banned book by Dr. Seuss. Now, if you follow Flip Weekly on social media, you would have seen a video that I found a copy of Dr. Seuss's The Cat's Quizzer in a thrift store. I paid pennies for it, right? But this is a book that is no longer able to be sold, and I'm giving it away to somebody that reads the newsletter or listens to the podcast. It's going to be very simple to enter. I'm going to make it easy. You don't have to do much. All you have to do is go to flipweekly.com/cat and enter your email address. Now, your email address has to be registered to receive the Flip Weekly newsletter, so make sure you sign up to that beforehand. But you'll be able to win this book. Now, this book, man, I am in a book phase. You'll know I'm in a book phase. I'm going to talk to you in this episode about books that I'm going to sell for. I mean, there's a copy, not a copy. There is a set of books that I found in Salvos. They sold the very next day for $150. There's a trilogy that I picked up that you see in every single thrift store, an Australian only release, so everybody overseas wants it, that you can sell for, I've listed this up at $300. I'm in a book phase, man. I am loving my books. I stand alone in the bookstore thrift aisle. I swear to God, man. Saturdays, Sundays, the busiest times at a thrift store, it doesn't matter. I stand alone in the books. There's no one around me. I don't know if it has something to do with, just people not wanting to be around me, grown man looking in the kids' book section and recording videos too. None of that really bodes well for, concerned parents. But I stand alone in the books. No matter how much I talk about books, nobody is going there and reselling them like me, I guess. So I'm having a lot of fun with them, and I want to give away, this book, The Cat's Quizzer, features something deemed inappropriate by the publishers, enough that it got pulled off the shelves. It's no longer being sold. This is a hardcover UK first edition. It's an oversized version too, which means on a good day on eBay, this thing you could fetch close to $100 for. Now, I didn't want to just leave it behind. I wanted this, maybe kept by somebody, or at least resold to somebody that's going to appreciate it, because the more and more I learn about books, the more and more I am just appreciating them. I want to find a first edition, first printing of some of the more popular versions of Dr. Seuss's books. If you find Green Eggs and Ham, for example, the first of the first, that's a $3,000 book. If you find a 1957 copy of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, that's $2,000. These books, they're just so hard to come by, and yet in thrift stores, you stand alone when you're looking at these books. Apart from the parent with the kid that is just trying to find, something for the kid to pretend to read, there's nobody else really doing this. Speaking in hyperbole, I'm sure there's other people that are reselling books, but this is just something that I want to give. I don't want to keep it for myself. I'm not a collector anymore, or really at all. So if you want this, flipweekly.com/cat, keep it for yourself, display it, sell it. I don't care. I want one of you to have it. I want you to have it. This is like when I'm trying to get other people involved in activities that I enjoy. I want other people to get the excitement and the passion that I have for a certain subject. And the only way to do that, I guess, in my nature has been to financially incentivize them, So if you're not doing books, do books. Maybe if you get your hands on this first UK edition of the Cat's Quizzer oversized hardcover copy from what did I say, 57, 67, 76, maybe that will just get you excited. So flipweekly.com/cat, and I will announce the winner next week on the podcast in the newsletter, and I'll just ship it out to you. This is in overall pretty good condition given its age. If you saw the video, I've given it some TLC since then. I went over it with what did I do? I got an eraser, like a rubber eraser, and attacked it. I gave it a wipe down, general dust and stuff. But this is just such a cool book, man. Such a cool book to have in my hands. Not cool in the sense that it features what has been called distasteful imagery, but just a good piece of, I guess, history for children's literature. So anyway, we are going to talk about everything that I've picked up, everything that I've sold. I'm going to give you, some bangers here. You're going to go out and you're going to find some of this stuff and make a lot of money. So let's just jump straight into what I bought. So we're starting in a Savers thrift store, and we have found a trilogy of books on the bottom shelf of I think it was a sci-fi section. It's a series that you see in every single thrift store. I mean, you would have heard of it. You've heard of The Hunger Games, right? Hunger Games, extremely popular. When it was first announced, when it was first introduced to the world, it had an insane pre-order list. When Harry Potter first came out, how many hardcover books of Harry Potter were there in the UK? There were 500. Do you know how many there were of The Hunger Games? Their first initial print run? 200,000 hardcover copies. This book was as hyped up as LeBron James coming out of college. It doesn't sound rare, right? Like, you find a first edition, first printing of The Hunger Games, it's not going to set the world on fire, right? It's not going to come out, score 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, LeBron James, GOAT. No. However, there are copies of The Hunger Games that you can find that are worth big money. Now, I found a box set, which means it contains the first 3 books, the trilogy. That was The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, and Catching Fire. Told you last week, anytime you see some sort of box set that looks a bit unusual, you need to be checking it out. And I saw this box set, and I thought, this isn't how The Hunger Games is usually presented. Usually The Hunger Games has, like a black cover with some icons on it. This box set looked unusual. It looked camouflage. It had a bright green rainforest camouflage around it. Each of the books had a different color camouflage inside, and these were just paperbacks, right? These aren't hardcover books, so I didn't think this was going to be a big deal. How wrong I was. I was so incredibly wrong. $15.99 Savers wanted for these, and I looked them up, and oh my god, this is an Australian-only release. Nowhere else in the world got these camouflage books. I don't know why the publisher thought Australia camouflage. When I think camouflage, I don't think Australia. I think America, right, with their hunting culture. Australia got these books. And if you're a Hunger Games fan, or if you're, a young adult reader, you might even have these books. Australian-only release. You look these books up online on the subreddit Hunger Games, they go crazy for this set. These are collectors, right? These are people that collect books. They want every version of the Hunger Games ever printed. And this is the white whale for many of these people. They can't find this book anywhere because it's only in Australia. I'm looking at a thread right now on Reddit, and somebody even says, I'm from Australia and I haven't seen these covers in years. Another person said, I've never seen those. And then the people are genuinely asking, how do I find these? Do you have any tips? And, obviously look on eBay, right? So this was first released in 2015. And when I looked these up on eBay, 0 active listings, 2 sold listings. Now, before I tell you how much these sell for, I have since been in thrift stores where I have found these individual books in the children's book section. Now, the first time I saw them, I thought, oh, that's weird. This is the first time I ever found these camouflage books. And now I found, an individual one of these. That's unusual. I'll just leave it behind. I have the trilogy. I don't need an extra book. And I'm not kidding. A couple of days later, in a different thrift store, I saw another one. I saw I think I saw originally Hunger Games, then I saw Mockingjay. I'm like, what are the odds that I'm now seeing this book everywhere? I think what that means is that nobody in Australia knows that these are extremely valuable. And now I'm putting it out there for you and for me to make money. The two sold listings on eBay, $349.97 plus postage. Another one, $300. This box set is about a $350 box set, and it's just for 3 books. They're just paperback. They look unassuming. They're just camouflage. And they're not even that well camouflaged, to be honest, because I see these things. They're poking their fucking heads out in the bookstore. I got them home. I opened them up. No yellowing, no foxing, no dog ears, no issues with this set whatsoever. And the other crazy thing is, I was in a Savers maybe 10 days ago, right? A different Savers. And I found a box set of hardcover first editions of the Hunger Games. And I looked them up and they were selling only for like $35. And I was disappointed because I was like, this box set looks amazing. It looks really cool. I'm a sucker for, great design. And I am also a sucker for like thin hardcover books. There's a very, very unusual fetish to have. I just can't get enough of these thin hardcover books. I was disappointed. I was like, well, if these hardcover first editions in a box set aren't worth much money, I guess there's no Hunger Games books that are worth much money. No, I was wrong. The camouflage version, $350 plus post, $300 plus, no post. But I listed this up, this $16 purchase, $15.99 on eBay for $300. And you know what? I feel like I'm going to be talking about them very, very soon because the activity they've had on eBay is blowing my mind. In just a few days, 50 views, 9 people watching. And it doesn't sound like much, right? But I have a lot of items on my store that you would consider, not valuable, but, sought after, including like video game stuff that always gets a lot of views. The amount of views and like the way this is ticked up in terms of attention is showing me that people genuinely want this. They want it bad, man. They want it bad, just like LeBron wanted to win 3 in a row. They just want this box set bad. So if you want to see a photo of what they look like, just Google Hunger Games camouflage or go to flipweekly.com and check out the photo. You know what? This might actually be the thumbnail. So you'll be able to see the thumbnail on YouTube or on the podcast thumbnail. I don't know how it works, but yeah, this is a Hunger Games box set worth $300. And we just paid $16 for it. Absolutely crushing it in these books. But then we move on from Savers. We're going over to Vinnie's. I'm here at Vinnie's and I'm here to complain about overpriced items. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. You scroll through the racks at Vinnie's and you see your shirts for $10. You see like your polos that have been, thrashed by people over the years for $12. Who cares? Just move on. I found something that is probably the coolest shirt, at least the coolest button-up shirt that I've seen at least this year, right? This for $10 on a gigantic Nickelodeon SpongeBob SquarePants tag is an all-over print SpongeBob button-up shirt. Now, this shirt is from 2004. It attracted me because I saw that giant SpongeBob tag. The color it looks like a saloon, right? The front and the back has the color of a saloon, but that's in the background. And in the foreground, you have the bright yellow SpongeBob riding a skateboard, doing like a little skateboard trick with his name above him and like some cool graffiti handwriting. And that print is on the front, it's on the back, it's all over this bloody thing. $10. And man, this shirt is like, it's over 20 years old now, right? It's in pretty good condition. There is a small hole near the back of the armpit, but when I saw this in Vinny's, I thought, I can't leave this behind. It just looks too good. And I'm a sucker for a good tag too. For a tag that's like a big, thick boy, hell yeah, I'm going to pick this up. I paid $10 for it. And I check online, people for these sort of shirts are asking around the $120 mark. The vintage button-ups all over print style. I've chucked mine up on eBay and also on Depop, hitting up Depop again for $99.95. It's getting a bit of attention, so I think it might sell. It's going to be a hard one to find, I guess, within Australia. But it's a good size. It's an XL, and a reminder that, yes, you can still get good clothes in Vinny's, in Lifeline, in Salvos, all these thrift stores. There's no need to just be really, really rough on them for, not being able to find a vintage band t-shirt or $1 million brand. It's just not going to happen every single week, and it's unfair to be shitting on them because of that. But anyway, I went onto eBay sold listings because I wanted to see what the most expensive SpongeBob stuff is to buy, and I'm thinking maybe the DVD set, the complete series of SpongeBob, which is pretty good. You can sell it for about $200. Then I thought maybe animation cells, production cells from the television show, maybe that would be the most expensive, but it wasn't. You know what the most expensive SpongeBob shit that sells? It's bloody trading cards. It's like, the brand Topps. It's Topps SpongeBob like trading cards, and it's unusual that people are getting these graded. I mean, it's not unusual. People are grading this stuff, but I'm seeing like SpongeBob trading cards, $14,000. There's one here that has been graded at PSA 10, and it's just of SpongeBob's driver's license, and that's $13,000. I know a lot of people like to say, it's money laundering. I can't stand your Jane Does, your mum and pops at home that know nothing about money laundering, just throwing that word out there when they don't know anything about the market. That's a pet peeve of mine, money laundering. It's not money laundering. And I saw another one here on bid, and it's I'll say the title of it, Topps 2025 Chrome SpongeBob Sketch Card Auto Halsey camera, no reserve auction. It's sold with 36 bids for $12,000. It's just a SpongeBob trading card. And it's crazy because these aren't old either. They're literally from last year, which means this was inside of like a pack of cards. And how much do you pay for a pack of cards? How much are Pokemon cards? Like $10 a packet? I haven't bought a pack of Pokemon cards in a while. Or, ever since I've been an adult. But yeah, $12,000. And it was in a pack of SpongeBob cards just last year. So the odds of us finding one of those SpongeBob trading cards out in the wild, very low. We'll be able to find the SpongeBob DVD, probably not an animation cell. So if you're trying to find valuable SpongeBob stuff, good luck. But speaking of like trading cards, we have actually found something, I guess, a bit adjacent to trading cards. Again, in a Vinny's, different Vinny's from last time. This is probably the smallest Vinny's in Sydney. It's very uncomfortable going in there because it's always the same guy working behind the counter. Close proximity to everything. And the item that I was looking in was like directly in front of him. So it was like, you can't do your comp research. You can, but you're going to be doing it very obvious. I found on a shelf above the men's clothing, multiple board games and expansion packs. I've had luck with board games from Vinny's before. I think the last one we sold was like $250. There's a video on that on social media if you want to check it out. The game is called Final War. Now, Vinny's had, for $150, 7 different items from this board game. So they had the primary board game. They had these expansion packs, factory sealed. Then they had, I guess, some other bigger expansion packs that have been opened. and I saw that and I got interested in it. So I looked up Final War. Now, Final War is actually an Australian board game, and it's not a traditional board game. It's called a TCG game, which is a tactical collectible card game. I don't know if that's the right... TCG, I think, stands for trading card game. This is a tactical collectible card game. It says it's for 2 to 4 players. It's set in a fantasy world called Glorin, and players control a warlord in a 50-card deck, building up forces before a final war card triggers all-out combat. So I look up the board game. It doesn't seem very popular. It's not selling for much money. If I buy all 7 of these items, $150 for all 7, I'm not going to make any money. But when I look to the right of these items, priced individually, we have an expansion pack and then 3 other bigger boxes. Not much bigger boxes, but a decent size. I give them a bit of a shake, and you know what they are? They're booster boxes. Now, if you don't know what a booster box is, it's essentially a box that contains individual sealed booster packs. Now, if you don't know what a booster pack is basically what... Just picture like if you're buying a pack of Pokemon cards. That's what a booster pack is. Again, I haven't bought Pokemon cards in a while, so my terminology might be a bit off. But this is a booster box full of booster packs, 24 in total, and then the 24 packs contain like 12 cards or something like that. There was 3 of these. They were priced at $30 each, and I'm thinking to myself, if I ever find booster boxes out in the wild, I'm going to buy them, especially being factory sealed. Why? Because they're fun. If they're not worth any money, you know what you get to do? You get to open up packs of cards. Again, I haven't done this since I was a kid, but off memory, this was quite fun to do. You might find something rare. I mean, isn't that why every cunt does it now? They want to find something rare. I'm sure within this universe, this Final War universe, they would have had their regular cards, they would have had their rare cards. And if there's enough players nowadays, maybe you'll find a rare card and you can chuck it on eBay and make yourself fucking $13,000 like those SpongeBob cunts. I don't know. So $30 each. I look up comps, and comps are good. I'm looking at sold listings. 25th of June, 28th of July. 2 booster boxes sold, both for $250 each. I'm guessing when Vinnies were doing their research, they weren't looking at sold listings because there was no active listings for these booster boxes. So they just priced them just like everything else. So I paid $90 in total. I have 2 listed up right now for $250 each. I didn't want to flood the market because this game, when did I say it came out? 2015. I didn't want to just immediately throw like 3 booster boxes back on. So the 2 that I put up were 2 different sets. One was called Onslaught, one was called Arcane and Carnage. Doesn't mean anything to you or me, but to the people that play this game, I guess it means something different. So I'm hoping to sell these. Once one sells, I'll chuck the last one up. But man, what are the odds of finding booster boxes in a Vinnies? Like, if they, I don't think they knew what they were. I really don't, because they're factory sealed. If you took that plastic off and you open the box, you would see that there's 24 individually packed packs of cards. And each of those cards, they're meant to be sold like retail for like, I don't know, what, like $8, $10 each. So it makes sense that they're worth a lot of money. I don't know how popular this game is anymore. It is 11 years old. I don't know if anyone plays it, but it had a big enough release that they manufactured booster boxes, right? They manufactured an actual game. From what I looked online, from my research online, they went to all of like the Comic-Cons and stuff to promote this game. So I don't know. There's sold listings, so it's enough to take a gamble. It's enough to spend $90 on these 3 booster boxes and just see what happens with it. And like I said, if nothing comes, if they don't sell within a good period of time, let's just open them up and play with them. Play with them is not the right word. What do people do with Pokemon cards? They fucking sit on them and they don't do anything with them. They put them on a shelf and jerk off. I don't know what people do with Pokemon cards. Literally sit them on a shelf. But the lesson here, man, the lesson here is that don't get too excited when you see these bundles and you see these sets in an op shop on the rare occasion that you do. I know some people would have seen that $100, $150 for all 7. They would have just bought everything. No. Take your time, work out where the value lies, and be smart. Don't buy that open board game that you know might be missing pieces and probably sells for peanuts, right? Again, if you want to see photos of this, go to flipweekly.com or just search Final War Tactical Card Game. If you've played that game, by the way, let me know. Tell me if it's any good and if you want a booster box. I have one spare. If anybody wants it that actually plays the game and can prove that they play their game, I don't want to send you a booster box if you don't play the game. But if you actually have the game at home and want a free booster box, just let me know. Do not list it on eBay though. I don't want the market flooded. You'd have to keep it for yourself. If we move on from that would have been $90 into $750 if they sell. But we're going back to savers, and guess what? Who knew you could find valuable video games in a for-profit thrift store? Now, in the media section, I found 3 PlayStation 2 games. They're all priced at $6.49. A bit up there when it comes to pricing. But these were games that have obviously slipped through the cracks at savers, because on eBay right now, you can buy each of these games for between $15 and $30, but they miss some important things, and this is where you need to be on your game. We found Ratchet and Clank number 1, 2, and 3. Now, there was 2 Black Label games, 1 Platinum game. You're going to need to know the difference between those, because these are the important things that savers missed. 2 out of the 3 were Black Label games. Every single one were complete with their manuals. And these were the first 3 games in the series on the PlayStation 2. Because of those reasons, especially the fact they were 1, 2, and 3, we're going to ask for a premium. I'm looking at sold listings on eBay for $149.95 for all 3. And that was on the 9th of August, so not that long ago. I paid $19.49 in total and listed them up on eBay for $129.95 and also a marketplace for $80. So there you go. Valuable video games in a savers. Thrifting is dead, right? Let's go back to salvos. Another reason to say thrifting is dead. Thrifting is dead. Thrifting is dead. Ring the fucking doorbell. If you find this book series, you need to buy it. I've talked about it before. It's worth good money, but there is a catch, right? There's a catch. I'm going to talk to you about the catch. I paid and I found 8 books of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass book series. I paid $32. Now, don't go running out to your nearest thrift store and start looking for Sarah J. Maas, right? You need to know that the value lies in the covers. Now, these books were paperback. I'm sure some people would be like, well, they're not hardcover, they're worth no money. This episode of Flip Weekly is proof that paperback books are worth good money. We found the Hunger Games, they were just paperback. These were paperback. What attracted me to these, they were the original UK covers. Now, fans of this author, fans of Sarah J. Maas, or as I call her, Sarah Maas, which you can't do. I was reminded this week by my girl, it's not Sarah Maas, it's Sarah J. Maas, right? Fans of this girl cannot resist buying the original covers of this series and of the series of Court of Thorn and Roses. I don't know why. Collectors, I don't know why. They love the original cover. Look, let's attack my favorite authors, my favorite books, right? Let's say Andy Weir, okay? Project Hail Mary, The Martian. I'm literally wearing a Project Hail Mary shirt right now because I need to do my laundry. I bought this shirt and a matching shirt for my girl when we went to see Project Hail Mary because we read the books at the same time. We were like, okay, let's do something together that isn't, we're going to read Project Hail Mary at the same time, discuss it afterwards, and then go and see the movie, right? I do not give a fuck what the cover of the book looks like. There's multiple versions. There's a version of the main character floating off in space, and then there's a cover of, what's his name, Ryan Gosling in the ship or whatever. I don't care. Why, collectors? Why do you care what the cover is of Throne of Glass, Court of Thorns and Roses? Why does it matter? I don't understand. I don't have the mindset of a collector, man. I don't get it. I really don't, especially when you pay so much money for these covers. I've seen eBay listings of A Court of Thorns and Roses original covers, original dust jackets. That's it. That's it. And they're like hundreds of dollars. They're not even the books. It's just the covers. It's just the dust jackets. I don't get it. Anyway, I've talked about this series before. If you find them, you're in for a huge payday, especially those hard covers. Now, I've included on the Flip Weekly newsletter what the original US Throne of Glass covers look like, and then what the original UK Throne of Glass covers look like. These are the covers you want to find. Familiarize yourself with these because this author is so popular that you see her books in thrift stores all the time. And if you go out to a thrift store and you send me through a photo on social media saying, should I buy these? And it's the modern version of this cover, I'm going to scream. Okay? Not at you, I'm just going to scream. The original UK covers of Throne of Glass sold listings. Paperback, $180 for the series. There's 8 books in the series. If you get the hardcover, again 8 books in the series, $1,100. You heard that correctly. Almost $1,200 for 8 books. And the sell-through rate is high. There's like 61 active, 55 sold. If you buy these books in a thrift store, they're going to sell because the covers are apparently irresistible. Now, this isn't an attack on the collectors or the people that buy that. I'm just saying I don't get it. Okay? Because you can go out and you can buy a Throne of Glass paperback series from, I don't know, Kmart for like $50. But $180, $200, they're the sold listings. The active listings are around the $300 mark. So man, the price, the value of these books is high. God forbid you find the hardcover copies because man, you are in for such a big payday from just a couple of books. Let me give you a little spoiler too. I sold these books within 24 hours. Locally too, so I didn't have to bother with posting. I'm going to talk to you about that a bit later because I'm going to now move over to, it was another Vinnie's. Like, we were just in Salvo's, now we're at a Vinnie's. This is an item that is a bit of a gamble. And it's a gamble because I don't know much about the category. It's not something I would usually buy. If you see what it looks like, it's going to be a huge pain in the ass to ship. But to be honest, I won't care because it would be a good sale and it would just prove that, you know, my eye was doing okay at this time. I found in Vinnie's for $25 a Cobra snake table lamp. Now, I'm immediately interested in anything that just looks a bit out of the ordinary. And this thing, it's a Cobra snake. It's like 3/4 of its body is coiled around at the base, and then sitting within that base is a spherical globe. Now, above this globe, it looks like, you know, like a wizard's globe, you know, like what's his name, Saruman's little orb thing that he has in Lord of the Rings. Above that, you see the cobra's head, the long neck. It just looks, oh, I have to stop this. Mum's calling me. Let's see what Mum says. Let's see if I can record this. Karen Carpenter.
Mackie Carpenter, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
You're on the podcast. Do you have anything you want to say?
No. Not in mine.
Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I don't. Not today.
Not today. Okay, well, let me pause this. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. 40 minutes later. So about this Cobra coiled snake lamp. Found in Vinnie's, $25. I did some comp research at the time. Everything that I was seeing was like worth a lot of money. I saw like comps on Etsy for over $1,000. I saw independent websites listed this thing for hundreds of euros. Yeah, euros. And then I saw like eBay sold listings for a couple $100. Like, I just didn't know what to do. Like, I thought it looked so cool. I thought on Facebook Marketplace somebody would buy it quickly. But the thing is, and this is my fault, I couldn't find a maker's mark on it. And the ones listed online were attributed to like this Italian brand. So what I bought wasn't the same. Also compared the photos closer once I got home. My Cobra has a longer neck. So I don't know. It is a cool pickup. I just don't know if it's going to sell for any sort of money. But man, maybe trust your gut when it comes to like this sort of shit. Surely somebody will want it. I've had somebody ask me if it has a maker's mark on it, and I said no. That's the only interest that I've got so far. It has had views on both Marketplace and on eBay. Listed up on Marketplace, cheaper than what I have it on eBay. $150 on Marketplace, a bit more on eBay. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I wasn't going to talk about it because I was a bit embarrassed. I was a bit embarrassed that I didn't find a maker's mark and I still bought it. I was embarrassed that I couldn't tell the difference in the store between the one that I had and the comps online for the Cobra with a much shorter neck. So I'm putting it out there. We'll see if it sells. But we'll just move on to a few other pickups from the week. If you want to see photos, go to flipweekly.com. I'm just going to run through these now. The first thing was Tintin. Always buy your Tintin. This was a Tintin illustrated dictionary. So basically a hardcover, oversized dictionary from English to French and then French back into English. Now, it is called in French the Tintin All Pays des Mots, which means Tintin Illustrated Dictionary. This thing is actually pretty damn cool. Illustrated with Tintin characters, the Tintin environment, that art style, all just a dictionary. And if you look it up on eBay, it has sold comps for over $120. And it's not in the best shape, but I'm going to get at least $100 for it. And I'm only in it for $6. So always buy your Tintin. And then over to Savers. We're crushing these. We're running through these. Savers gave us more clothing that's going to sell for a lot of money. I found a very, very rare Canterbury branded Arabian Gulf Rugby Union jersey. Now, this is the ARFU. This was a rugby team consisting of a whole bunch of Arab states, but they disbanded back in 2010. If you want to buy any of these jerseys, the ARFU jerseys, you're going to be paying over $200. I listed this up for $300 and I just paid $16.79. If you find Canterbury, that brand, in a thrift store, always pay close attention to it. Now, another Savers pickup, and this one's a plush toy that somehow is worth a lot of money. For just $4.99, I found a woman in a bag. Now, this woman, she's about 30 centimeters tall, and she's from a web series called RWBY. I don't know if that's supposed to be Ruby or if it stands for anything, but this is a series by Rooster Teeth. Now, if Rooster Teeth sounds familiar, it should, because they did the series Red versus Blue. You will remember that because we sold it on DVD for hundreds of dollars a few months ago, right? This stuff is rare. It's highly sought after, and they didn't have huge production runs. It's a character from that show, from that series, called Pyra Nikos. But eBay listings like to call her the One. I don't know why she likes to be called the One, but you know what I'm going to be calling her? I'm going to be calling her the 150 because I've listed this $4.99 plush up on eBay for $150. That's right. I can see comps, sold listings of this plush toy, this 30 centimeter woman, $186. Another one on bid for $76.41. Now, obviously, we can always get more money when we're doing fixed price versus auction, but this character is in high demand. And the reason I say that is because 20 hours ago, I published a post on Reddit, on the RWBY subreddit, saying killer thrift store find with a picture of this toy. 20 hours ago, it's gotten 1,000 upvotes and 50 comments. People are saying, the people in the comments are basically saying, let me read out some of these comments. The Great One still lives. All hail the Great One. Free the Great One from her plastic prison. The Great One. I mean, they keep calling her the Great One. Someone else said, "Oh damn, that's lucky." Yes, was it luck or was it skill? No, it was luck. We don't know what we're doing in the plush section. But here's the thing: all I do when it comes to, I guess, thrifting in general is I go through the store and I'm like, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. And then I come to something like, I don't know what that is. And when I come to that, I don't know what that is item, it deserves a search because you want to be naturally curious when you're thrifting. It's usually how you find the big money stuff. Like if you see the photo that I posted on Reddit, if you go to the RWBY subreddit or if you go to flipweekly.com, you'll be able to see I have in my hands this doll in a bag, and in the background you can see, you know, a plush of Charmander, a plush of Spot, a plush of the dogs from Paw Patrol, Winnie the Pooh. I'm going along that rack and I'm like, I know what this is. I know who Charmander is. I know who Winnie the Pooh is. I'm not going to be able to, you know, sell Winnie the Pooh for thousands or hundreds of dollars in most cases. You know what I mean? But I see this chick. I'm like, I don't know who she is. I look her up. I see those sold listings and, you know, I buy her for $5. I'm just checking back on that killer thrift store find, the post that I did to the RWB subreddit. 29,000 views in 20 hours. People really like this show, or they really like this character. The Great One. The Great 150. So yeah, $5 into $150 from a thrift store. Thrifting is dead, might I remind you. Moving on, I'm only going to talk about this item briefly because it didn't work once I brought it home, but it is a reminder that I guess thrifting is dead and you can't make any money from it. For $12, I found this Barbie cash register. Now, I opened up the till of this cash register and it had some Barbie branded money. It had some swipeable cards. This thing looked like back in its day, it was very interactive. You know, it had the scanner. It had a working calculator by the looks of it. It looked like it made some sound. Apparently, it had a working microphone too. When I looked this thing up, it has sold listings that are absolutely crazy, man. This thing is from like 2002, I think, right? If it was boxed and brand new, $500. If it was working, $130 was the most recent. But there was one 4 days before that for $200. So basically it's between $130 and $200 cash register. The reason it didn't work was because the old owner left batteries in it and the batteries corroded really badly. I did attempt to clean, you know, I used WD-40 and some what are they called? Q-tips. Nothing could get it clean. I mean, and that's basically where my cleaning experience starts and ends. But the thing is, you can still get a bit over $50 for it not working, and people buy the money and the cards as replacements. But I'm not going to bother, to be honest. I'm just going to redonate it or gift it to my niece. I don't want to be selling something for $50 on eBay. But yeah, I don't know, just I guess a reminder that this old sort of interactive toy can sell for money. I mean, can sell for $150, $200 just because, I mean, go check out the photos. You'll be able to get a better idea of what I'm talking about because, you know, your boy here isn't the best at, I guess, podcasting or talking in general. But again, moving on, one more thing. Two more things. No, one more thing. Very last thing that I'll talk about in what I bought before we move on to some sales. I was in a Lifeline and I spotted a Wallabies jersey. This is my redemption arc. You remember last week, the week before, somebody came in, they basically pulled a Wallabies jersey out of my hands, pushed my head in the dirt and said, "Better luck next time, Matt." And I was not happy. I found a short sleeve Rugby World Cup 2003 Wallabies jersey in a Lifeline. I saw it from afar and you know what I did? I didn't, get distracted by anything else. I did a beeline straight to it and then I saw the price. I almost completely walked out. They wanted $50 for this jersey. $50. Usually their jerseys are 18, 20. This Wallabies jersey was $50 and I was going back and forth. I was like, do I want to be spending $50? I want to turn $1 into 100, not 50 into 100 or 150. So I was going back and forth. But then I thought, there's a Wallabies game on Saturday. It's not that far away. I think I can buy this for $50 and flip it for $100 locally or $150 on eBay. So that's double or triple my money. So I said, yes, let's do it. And yeah, I was right, but I was also wrong. I'll explain what I mean by that in what I sold. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about what has sold over the past week. What should we talk about first? I think we should talk about street sharks, because when one sells, many sell, and we have started off the week with a couple of street shark deals. The first one was Street Shark Jetpack Jab. Now, you'll remember that I bought the biggest Street Sharks bundle eons ago, and this guy has just sold on eBay for $140. The thing to know about these old toys is like the value really rests on their accessories, their guns, their weapons, their, in this case, jetpacks. That's the value, man. Like, you can buy this toy by itself, this single Street Shark, for like $40, $50, right? You add on the fact he has a removable jetpack, and it jumps the price up to $140. I'm not even kidding, man. It's literally a jetpack that makes this thing worth money. The guy sent me through a message being like, do the jetpack wings still extend and stay up? This shows how little I played with these toys. I didn't even know they extended. The very first time I extended these wings was when I got that message. I looked in my photos and the wings are down, and I guess a lot of Street Sharks people might have had concerns that maybe the wings were missing, maybe the wings weren't firm when you extended them. So that's probably why it took a while to sell, but doesn't matter. Sold for $140. And when you think about it, that jetpack, it's $100 piece of plastic. It really is. And just think back of when I first bought that Street Sharks bundle. I was so excited. I remember the Facebook Marketplace listing. I think it might have been like on a hangover day, and I was laying in bed and I saw it. And I was thinking, like, I don't really want to get out of bed to go and pick this up, but the deal is just too good to not go and buy it. I think I spent maybe like $500, or was it? I think he might have hit me up for more. It might have been $800, and just getting out there, driving maybe 25 minutes, and just seeing a storage tub full of these Street Sharks. Like, it was such a flashback to childhood. Like, it just brought me back to when I was a kid, because I had some of these when I was a kid. I played with them. I have home videos of me playing with these Street Sharks. And then as an adult, I thought I would be just as excited. And then because I didn't extend the wings of this fucking jetpack, that they sat in a storage box. Nothing happened to them. They just sat there doing nothing. I don't play with toys. I wish I would. I wish I could go back to being that young and carefree, that the biggest thing that I had to deal with on a day-to-day basis was, who would win the fight between fucking Slobster and Killamari, right? Love those names. But anyway, we sold that jetpack jab on eBay, and then we sold a couple of Street Sharks on Marketplace. And the ones that we sold on Marketplace was Slobster and it was Killamari. This guy sent through a message saying that he didn't have these ones. I tried to like pawn off the rest of them. I don't have many left, but there is like a $400 hand puppet that I still have. And yeah, he wasn't too keen on that. So he just bought these two. He spent $30 each. So it's $60 in total for two of these. It's not the biggest sale. It's, but I mean, it gets them out of the eBay store. I think they're on eBay for like $50, maybe $60. It gets rid of them, and it keeps our average sale price high. Like, I don't like having a ka-ching and it's like $40. They're so seldom in my store, those ka-chings, that I don't want it to be a low value item. Like, I think I have like 200 items in my store. I see resellers having thousands, thousands of items. I have 200. I barely scraped 200. But I don't care. I really don't care. I like the items that I'm buying. I'm glad that these have sold. I can remove them from eBay, and every time I get a ka-ching from now on, it's going to be a lot. Well, it's going to be a bit of money, right? Like our average sale price last month was $167.50. We're trying to reach $200. I'd rather $200 average sale price than $100 or even $150. That's our aim. $200 average sale price. Let's see if we can get there. We're not going to get there by selling $50 Street Sharks. So we had that Facebook Marketplace deal, and then we had another Facebook Marketplace deal. If you're not listing on Facebook Marketplace, man, what are you doing? Because it took just under 24 hours for this sale, and it was the Sarah J mask. What does that J stand for, by the way? Is it just like Homer, where it doesn't stand for anything, or it stands for J? I'm going to Google that right now. Sarah J. Mark. Oh, that's what she looks like. I've never seen this chick's face before. Her middle name stands for Janet. Okay. She's only 40? Holy shit. She's only 40 years old. How old was she when she wrote these? This chick is 40 years old and she already has like 16 books under her name. That is, man, she must be writing constantly. I do 3,000 words a week. She must be doing 30,000 words a week. Man, are her books any good, by the way? If she's doing that much and she's only 40 years old, I mean, my writing is bad. If she's doing double, triple what I'm doing, it has to be bad, right? Man. So yeah, they sold. Those books sold. We paid $32 in salvos. They have sold for $150 on Facebook Marketplace. In under 24 hours, some chick came and picked them up, and she actually said the condition of these books were really, really good. She was happy to drive out here and pay that $150 and, feed the magic freezer. So yeah, you need to familiarize yourself with the covers of these books, because you're going to make a lot of money from doing it. And you're going to make the money fast. And that's the most important thing. Making the money fast. Speaking of fast, we had another quick sale, which were the video games that we picked up from Salvos. They sold in 48 hours, again on Facebook Marketplace. The Ratchet and Clank PS2 games, they have sold on Marketplace for $80. So that was, $19 into 80 in 48 hours. I did price them up to $130 on eBay, but with me, you're always going to get a better deal on Facebook when it comes to these items. They're straight into my bank account. That's an instant dopamine. Even if something sells on eBay, it takes a while to get into my bank account and I can't spend it straight away. So I love the Facebook Marketplace deals and I'm happy to take a discount for them. Now, speaking of Facebook Marketplace, if you invest over $100 in a deal, and I know some people, oh man, I shouldn't talk about this, but there are some people that are doing Facebook Marketplace incredibly wrong. They're doing it wrong. And I'm not to say that, all right answers lead to Matt and Flip Weekly, but I feel like I'm doing Facebook Marketplace the right way when it comes to this item. This is video games, right? Video games are the most notorious item to find on Facebook Marketplace. You need an exit plan if you're spending over $100. You either need to make double your money in a short period of time, or you need to get a huge deal and times 10 your money, like we've done with Nintendo 64 bundles before. You need an exit plan. Our exit plan for this deal was double our money very, very quickly. So I spent $150 on a boxed PlayStation 4, which came with a controller, games, all of the cables, all that sort of shit. We turned that $150 investment from last week, I talked about it last week, into $300. Now, I had this listed up on eBay for $400 because the games were actually pretty good. They're not FIFA, right? The games were worth maybe $50, $100 if you're pushing it with slow sales. But I had a lot of lowball offers from resellers. I could tell they were resellers. There was a couple of people that sent me through offers and they said, this is a market-based offer. And they offered me $180. But we just ignore that. You know, people are trying to make a living, trying to make some money. It's sell for full price on Facebook Marketplace. Like that's how it goes, right? And when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, when you buy things, especially video games, you need to be first. If a video game item has been sitting on Facebook for days, maybe weeks, it has been looked over by, for lack of a better word, the serious resellers or the better resellers. Man, this feels stupid. It's been looked over by people that usually get these deals many times. They've realized there's no money to be made in it. You need to get the video games within fucking 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you're pushing it at 20 minutes. I'm not kidding. If you're looking at Facebook Marketplace deals for video games after days, you're doing it wrong, man. Have I repeated myself enough times that you get it? Go back and listen to my Facebook Marketplace strategy, and that is how you make money with Marketplace video games. I remember posting this on Reddit not that long ago. Oh, it was social. Maybe it wasn't Reddit. I think it was social media. And no, it was social media. I posted about finding a Xbox One. I think it was Xbox One S boxed console for $30 and flipping it for hundreds. And someone was like, you know, it's not hard, but you need to set up all these notifications. You need to like do this, do that in order to get these deals. I responded like, I don't have any notifications set up. There is just a way to do Facebook Marketplace correctly to make money. That's not that hard, man. So go back and listen to that and just know you need to be first for Marketplace, especially video games. You need to be first. Otherwise, if you're waiting 6 days to find video games, you are buying from probably somebody else that is a reseller, and there's just no money to be made there, right? And anyway, speaking of Marketplace, it really is one of the easiest ways to sell your stuff. Like, you know, there's horror stories out there, right? But I've been selling on Marketplace for over 2 years. I have not had a single negative experience, really. And that includes face-to-face deals and telling buyers to leave cash in the magic freezer. Like, for real, like, what's the difference between those arguments where people say, I don't want them coming to my house, versus, you know, DoorDash dropping something off, or even Coles and Woolies? And I'm pretty sure they come inside of your house with their online orders, right? Like, I'm not advocating for you to sell expensive jewelry, your Rolexes, designer handbags, anything like that. But if you're dealing in low value items, like, the odds are that the worst thing you'll experience is like a buyer ghosting you, or maybe something even worse, showing up expecting change. You know, a $50 item, they show up with 100. Do you have a 50 change? No, I don't. Why would I have change? I'm not a bank. Or even worse than that, I had somebody drop off an envelope full of gold coins. They picked up something worth like $40. There was like a single $5 note and then $35 in change. You know how much my pants drooped once I put $35 in change in my back pocket? Man, I look like all my buddies from school from like 20 years ago showing off their boxers, except, you know, we've long past the boxer days, right? Anyway, next we had a Depop sale. A Depop sale came in over the weekend, sort of underpriced, but, you know, your boy just accepts offers. I picked up this $15 brand new with tags Australian Wallabies long sleeve, I guess, polo jersey from Vinnie's 2 weeks ago. I had it listed on eBay for $150, Marketplace Depop for $100, and then 2 people sent in offers an hour apart for $80, and I just decided, yeah, sure, I'll take it. But I said I'll take it to both of them. You know, it should have sold on eBay for full price, to be honest, given how rare this thing is. But it's just a bit weird that 2 people can send in offers on Depop, and you can technically accept them both. So then it's a race to see who is going to check out first, right? Like, it doesn't take the item off. It just says that you've accepted the offer for 2 people. Then what do? Do you send a message to each one being like, I've accepted your offer, but I've also accepted somebody else's offer? Like, it feels a bit weird, or it feels at least confusing to the buyer. Anyway, it is getting late, so if you want to see any more sales, go to flipweekly.com, check out the newsletter. A reminder, you can win a first UK edition copy of Dr. Seuss's banned book, The Cat's Quizzer, by going to flipweekly.com/cat. Maybe list it up for $100, maybe put it in your bookshelf, maybe take it to your clan meetings. I don't know what you're going to do with it. The winner will be announced next week. And it's also a reminder to you, follow Flip Weekly on social media. You're going to see the video of this book. And of course, prior to me giving the book some TLC, make sure you comment on some of those videos, comment on this video, comment on all social media for Flip Weekly. Maybe I'll give you some preference when it comes to the contest being drawn. I don't do that, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, thank you again for listening. I'll see you again next week.
Flip, 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 flip.
Flip Weekly.